Welcome to Exploring Oregon Wine Country. I'm your host, Pauline, and I'm really excited today to be here with Dave Hansen. Dave and Mary Hansen own this beautiful property called Arborbrook Vineyards. And why I'm really excited is because it's a neat story, and I'm not going to let Dave tell you. I want to know how you got into the business, Dave.
Sure. Well, it goes back to when I got out of college, and I took a particular interest in Napa Valley because I visited down there and had an opportunity to meet some of the proprietors down there, and decided, although I had no money at that time, I decided that someday I wanted to get into this business and grow my own grapes and make wine, and we could share with people. And so that's how it all got started. And
you said money. Now, isn't there a kind of a funny story? You need a $10 million to make $1 million in the wine business?
Well, that story is out there indeed. Yeah. So yeah, it's not a business for the faint of the heart. It definitely you gotta be willing to wait because you put a lot in while you're planting your vineyard and getting it ready to go, and because it takes a little while for the plants to start yielding and that type of thing. So definitely there's a capital commitment to it for sure.
And we're here in Newberg, and you're on, about 30 acres total, and how many are planted?
So we have 14 acres planted. We are on a 30-acre parcel. My wife has horses, and so I have to struggle and fight with her a little bit as far as availability of land for vineyard versus pastures.
Who won? Who's winning?
Well, it got divided, so it's kind of a half and half deal. So it's good. Yeah, exactly.
And you have an interesting story on how you found this place, right? I mean, you didn't didn't find it the first day you were looking. Said, I'm going to plant grapes, and you didn't.
Nope. Yeah, in 1998, my wife and I got married, and then in 1999 we started looking, and we looked at probably 50 different properties, and couldn't find exactly what we were looking for, and we were sent over on Calkins Lane to the other side of Calkins Lane. And my wife went and scouted out the property, and turned out it would have been a terrible vineyard site. It was covered in trees and not a good exposure. And so on her way back, she got to the top of Calkins Lane and looked down the hill and identified our property and said, "That's the one I want." But it wasn't for sale at that point. So we went back and got a call about a week later from our realtor, and he said, I want to show you a property. You're going to have some imagination with it. Turned out it was this property had just gone on the market.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. And so we came and walked the property. We had a little old 1910 farmhouse that my wife calls a poor folk farmhouse. But the property was exactly what we were looking for. Great vineyard property, great for having her horses at home. And so the adventure started in late 1999 when we bought the property. And it was an old walnut farm is what it was. And so in the spring of 2000 we began taking out all the walnut trees, and then the next year planted our first block of grapes.
Now, you were a banker.
I still am a banker, yes.
Yes, we have to support your habit.
That's right, that's right.
But how did you, it takes a lot of knowledge to grow a vineyard and make wine. Where did you learn all this?
Well, it's called on-the-job training. Thank goodness for the internet and other research materials that I could get my hands on. Plus, the other thing I did is knowing where my shortfalls were, I turned to some great partners to work with. Results Partners is our farming partner that we've had from day one. They actually helped us evaluate the property when we were before we bought it, looking at the soils to determine if it was a good site. Then as we got a little further down the road, we ended up hiring a consulting winemaker to work with us. I was a home winemaker. I was making wine in our kitchen, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, in our kitchen in garbage cans. Plastic garbage cans are great fermenters. But when we went commercial, decided, you could make a fatal error, and I didn't want to do that. And so we tried to hire the best people to work with us, and that's exactly what we've done over time, is have some great partners to work with us to really help us. And so every day is a new learning experience. I've learned a lot, and it's really an exciting opportunity for us, and it's been very, very rewarding. I can't believe we've been here almost 20 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when did you release your first wine?
So we planted in spring of 2001, and we got enough grapes in 2004 to make our first vintage. We were open for the first time to the public at Memorial Day of 2005, and that was a lot of fun. It was really scary because I was hoping that people would like the wine, and it turned out they did. And so we made 456 cases of Pinot Noir that year and about 50 cases of Pinot Gris. So yeah, it's been onward and upward from there.
How big will they be in another month?
We'll probably have growth up to about here in about a month. Okay. The plants grow very, very fast. What they do is they dedicate their energy in the first part of their growing cycle each year to growing the canopy, because the canopy is key in terms of getting the grapes ripe.
Yeah, so it's important how they trellis it and everything.
Yep,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. I mean,
exactly.
You can learn something every day. It's amazing.
Yep, absolutely.
And I could tell by the smile on your face, you're not sorry you got into this business.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's been really, really rewarding, really a lot of fun. I'm a believer in continuous learning, and always been committed to that. I think it's a great thing, and this has allowed me to continue my learning as it relates to growing wine grapes and making wine.
How many cases do you make a year?
We make about 3,000 cases a year now.
Do you distribute anywhere?
We don't. We distributed in the early days and then changed our model up, and we sell all of our wines directly through our tasting room and through our wine club.
You know, we have to go inside and talk about some of your wines now. But
sounds great.
unless there's anything else did I miss anything?
No, I think, we got we're
got
blessed to have a beautiful property here. We're located on the south side of the Chehalem mountain range, and it turns out that this is some of the best grape growing ground in the United States, and certainly we're in the epicenter of Pinot Noir here in the U.S. We're about 15 miles north of the 45th parallel, which if you follow it around the earth, it's going to cut right through Burgundy. And so our growing season is similar to Burgundy. Our soils are not, but we're able to really grow premium Pinot Noir and Pinot Gris and other cool climate varietals in this area. So,
and for people who don't realize that Burgundy is Pinot Noir.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, let's go inside and try some of our wine.
Sounds
your
great.
wine, not ours.
Okay,
your
sounds
wine
great.
is yours. So we're going to go inside now.
Thank you.
Well, here's where I want to be in the tasting room. Cheers. So we're drinking Pinot Noir, which is the main red grape here in this part of the Willamette Valley.
Exactly.
Before we talk about the wines and the wineries, ArborBrook. How did you come up with ArborBrook? Because your name's Hansen. It's not Hansen Vineyards. It's ArborBrook.
No, it's very fun. So we originally started out, we were going to be Willow Creek Vineyards, and it turned out when we got to the U.S. Trademark Office to trademark the name that someone in Australia had taken the name 6 months before. So my attorney said, don't try and run with that name, because several years down the road they could come back and take it away from you. So my wife and I went about trying to figure out what to call our operation, and so Arbor connected to the tree, which was the willow tree. We have a weeping willow, which is actually on our label, and that willow was planted in 1940 right by our house, and it's still there, and it's just beautiful. So Arbor goes with the tree, and on the lower part of our property we have a creek and a pond, so that would be the brook. So Arborbrook is how we came up with it. And
you start with an A, so you must be at the top of the list, huh?
That's right. That was an unintended benefit that came from that.
That is great.
Yeah.
So we're here in the tasting room, and we'll take a tour a little bit later. But right now, when people come into the tasting room here, what can they expect?
So a couple things. Number one, we are our goal here is to be very, very high level of client service, and we want people to feel very relaxed, very much at home. We have an ad that we do which tells really the story that we expect, and the ad says something like, wander in, stay a while. And so we want them to wander in and stay and enjoy our wines, enjoy the sense of place that's here at ArborBrook. We have a beautiful patio, and so when the weather's nice, a lot of folks enjoy sitting out on the patio, doing their tasting out there. But first and foremost, we really believe in making people comfortable and just giving them great service.
You do have a beautiful patio. Can people bring a picnic lunch if they like?
They can, yeah. We absolutely allow that, and we welcome them to come and enjoy.
Are you kid-friendly? Because a lot of times there's young folks out there and they have their children.
We are. We have a nice big lawn next to our patio, and very common for folks to bring their kids and have them run around on on the grass while they do a little wine tasting.
And have I seen some dogs outside?
Some dogs?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outside's
Absolutely.
okay,
We're
huh?
absolutely dog friendly too.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. And then you have a tasting. You taste 6 wines, and there's a fee for the 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then you taste another 3, is it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so what's included in your first 6?
You bet. So we start off with 3 different white wines that we make. We source our fruit from 3 different vineyards. Our whites are vineyard designated because the whites are expressing the sense of place where those grapes come from as well. So 2 different Pinot Gris, different styles. The stainless Pinot Gris is the predominant style here in Oregon. So we do have one of those. We also have a barrel fermented Pinot Gris, which is more typical of what you would find out of the Alsace region of France. And then we also do Sauvignon Blanc. My wife's a big Sauvignon Blanc lover, so the Blanc that we make expresses the character that she likes in her flavor profile on Sauvignon Blanc.
Do you grow Sauvignon Blanc on your property?
No, we source that from an outside vineyard as well.
Okay, that's great. And I understand that not many people make a Pinot Gris that's done in oak. That's unusual, isn't it?
It is very unusual. There's not very many producers in the United States that do their Pinot Gris fermented in oak and then aged. And so we're very excited about that. I'm an Alsace nut. I love the wines out of Alsace. And so this very much expresses that same style that you see out of Alsace.
And you have some Pinot Noirs too. You have.
Absolutely. That's what our property is planted to, is all Pinot Noir. And so the vast majority of our Pinots are all estate grown on our property. And we have several different varieties of Pinot Noir. And so typically we're doing blends, or in some cases we do some standalone varieties of Pinot Noir also.
Do you have any sweet wines? Sometimes people like sweet wines.
We do. We make a late harvest dessert wine out of the Semillon grape. And Semillon is a grape that likes the heat, so we source that fruit from a vineyard in eastern Washington. And we do a Sauterne style late harvest wine that is really yummy.
Do you want to say any more about Arborbrook wines before we take a tour of the old barn grin?
No, we just encourage people to come see us here at Arborbrook because, again, you really enjoy the variety I think that we have to offer, and we'd love to have people come visit us here in the tasting room.
And when can they come? What are your hours and days?
We're open 7 days a week. During the weekdays, we're open from 11 to 4:30, and then on weekends, we're open 11 to 5. And we have fabulous staff members that are extremely friendly and very knowledgeable about the wines. And it's one thing we really try and stress is not just coming and enjoying the wine, but getting a little education behind what people are enjoying in their glass. And so all of our tasting room associates are well trained and knowledgeable about information about the wines.
Even in the winter hours, I know a lot of places are closed. Are you open even in the winter season?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever close?
Not very often. Christmas
maybe.
Day, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, that's about it. Thanksgiving, of course, we're closed.
Great.
But otherwise we're here and ready to have people come and see us.
Well, cheers.
So,
Let's take a tour.
cheers to you. Yeah.
We'll take a tour now.
Okay.
I love your tables, Dave. These are really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. These are obviously wine barrels that we've used, that we've kept for tables, and again, very much in keeping with the relaxed atmosphere that we have here in our tasting room.
And we've got another tasting bar over here.
We do, yeah. We've kind of gone through evolution with our tasting room. This was our second tasting bar that we had. We originally started in the old part of the barn, which was built back in 1910. So when we moved here, this was a nut dryer, and we tore out all the nut drying equipment and put in stalls for my wife's horses. But in 2005, the first time we were opened, it was quite clear we didn't have enough room because of the number of people we had. So we built more stalls out back, but we kept the stalls in here to give it a real nice, comfortable feel. And we have evolved. About 6 years ago, we added on 30 feet to the building and added our tasting bar down at the other end
Where you and I were
to give us a little bit more space. Exactly, exactly.
Well, to go in.
Shall we walk into the other part here?
Watch your step.
That's great.
And you have these little rooms here.
We do.
And local artists, is it?
Yeah,
or did you do it?
No. One of the fun things that we do is we display artwork from 4 different local artists, and so different styles. This particular artist does a lot of oils, We have another artist, Terry Peasley, who does he does a lot of watercolors, and Susan Day is another artist that we have here that does pastel chalk, and then we have another watercolorist that displays their work as well. So it's fun to be able to have the local artists show off their great work.
I think art and wine goes together.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So this is all old right here, and the old beams from the barn?
Yeah, so this is all the original structure of the barn, full dimension lumber. You can see that 2x4 is really a 2x4. We have beautiful tongue and groove flooring in the building, so it's really fun to spend time in here and just kind of enjoy the, again, relaxed feel of the old barn. We have a lot of folks that come in and they comment on if they grew up on property and they had an old barn, they walk in, and barns have a distinct old smell to them, and it always makes people feel kind of warm. So.
Do you use the whole space too? Do you do events in these different rooms?
We do, yeah. So what we did, the stalls that are here, my wife and I actually put these stalls in when we moved here, and they make for very, very nice tasting stations now. So when we have our big events, we have folks come in and they go in each one of the stalls and try different wine, and they typically are paired with different hors d'oeuvres that we serve with the wine, and again allows folks to really circulate nicely throughout the building.
It's so unique too. I bet a lot of people really enjoy this as opposed to some of those big fancy places.
Exactly.
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 There's a place for everybody here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're definitely not a hoity-toity.
Not a hoity-toity at all, no.
You know, vineyard. Our goal is I want people to come here,
themselves.
relax, and enjoy themselves, and that's what the atmosphere is really built around.
Now, I think maybe we talked. I don't remember if I asked you how many wineries are there in Oregon now, roughly.
Oh goodness. So just in Yamhill County alone, you have over 600 wineries and vineyards now, and then within the state, now I think there's in excess of 1,000 vineyards.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting to see the growth that's occurred over the last many years.
The growth and the quality of the wines is amazing.
Quality just keeps getting better and better.
Don't you even see people here from all over the world and all over the country now?
We do. Yeah. The thing that one of the things people ask me is they say, what do you like the most about this? And certainly I love making the wines and everything, but one thing I enjoy is visiting with people who come in our tasting room, and they do come from all over the world. Oregon truly is we're on the radar screen as far as one of the great places to enjoy Pinot Noir. So that's a really fun experience, is to talk to folks about their backgrounds and where they're from and why they're here. Many of them are here because of Pinot Noir.
I know. I would think, you know, if somebody came in, I would think, oh, because Oregon's so beautiful, which is part of it. But yeah, I bet it's because of the Pinot Noir.
Exactly.
Anything you want to add?
You know, at this point, I think we've covered everything, and again, just invite folks to come out and see us and enjoy the sense of place here that we call Arborbrook.
And the Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you,
Dave.
Dave.
Yeah.